What is good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode brought to you by the League FFB. Today, we are going to be talking about three risers in the Dynasty Fantasy Football community and why they are rising right now this offseason. But before we get into that video, let's talk about how you can win a free signed NFL jersey mystery box. Right now, we are doing a giveaway in our Discord. It is free to join. Link is going to be in the description of this video or in our YouTube banner. But all you have to do is be subscribed to the YouTube channel and be a member of that Discord. Once you've done those two things, you will have access to a giveaway tab in our Discord, and all you do is click participate. If you've clicked participate, you will be entered to win this jersey. We are giving it away at the end of July, so make sure you are entered to win. So without further ado, let's get right into these players and let's talk about three risers in the Dynasty Fantasy Football community. Now, the first riser I want to talk about is going to actually be Lamar Jackson. Now, he hasn't rose as much as some of the guys that we are going to talk about later in this video, but it does seem that since the NFL draft, the Dynasty community is starting to wake back up on Lamar Jackson. There was a little bit of a lull and a little bit of a dip in his value over the last little while, and mainly most of that is because of injuries over the last couple seasons. 12 games played in 2021 and 2022. You see he's missing a couple games here and there, but let's not forget how good Lamar Jackson is when he's on the field. Over the course of his career, he has been a top 10 quarterback in points per game every single season as a starter. Now, this offseason, Baltimore makes a change at the offensive coordinator position. They move from Greg Roman in that run-heavy offense, and they get Todd Monken, who has helped lead the Georgia Bulldogs to back-to-back college football championships. And he should be remembered for his time that he spent in Tampa Bay, where he helped Jameis Winston be a very pass-heavy quarterback. He even helped Ryan Fitzpatrick during that time there as well. Now, the Baltimore Ravens, they go out this offseason, they add Odell Beckham, they add Zay Flowers, first-round wide receiver, and all of a sudden it looks like the Ravens are starting to see a shift in identity. They should be moving towards a little bit of a pass-heavy offense. They add some weapons, and it seems like because of that, the Dynasty Fantasy Football community has kind of gotten back in on Lamar Jackson. Like I said, there was a dip there for a minute, but it seems like Lamar Jackson is on the rise and one of the guys you should be watching for Dynasty Fantasy Football. Now, another player we're going to be talking about as a big riser is going to be Vikings running back Alexander Mattison, and the majority of this is going to be because of the release of Dalvin Cook. Now, Mattison has seen a very significant rise over the last couple months, going from running back 38 to running back 21 on keep trade cut. And like I said, the majority of that is because Dalvin Cook is out of town. Alexander Mattison is now the starting running back for the Minnesota Vikings. But I do think we need to pump the brakes on Alexander Mattison. Now, I get it. I have been on record in the past before the Dalvin Cook release saying that you should be buying Alexander Mattison. Well, that was because I knew that there was going to be a big value adjustment. Now that the value has swung the other way and Alexander Mattison is being valued as a top 20 running back in Dynasty Fantasy Football, we should no longer be looking at him as a buy. We need to remember that Alexander Mattison, very limited opportunity for the most part. He's always been good when he stepped in as a starter, but he has never surpassed 500 rushing yards or 6 touchdowns in a season. He isn't that great of a pass catcher out of the backfield, and when you go back and look and see how he tested at the NFL Combine, he just didn't test that well. A 4.67 40 and a college dominator rating of 28.7%. It's just not anything that wows you. I would not be surprised to see the Minnesota Vikings incorporate some of Dwayne McBride or Ty Chandler here this offseason. I do not expect Alexander Mattison to get the entirety of the workload here in Minnesota, and he's somebody who's risen so much over the last month and a half that I think he's transitioned from a buy candidate to now he's potentially a sell candidate, and it just depends on who you can get. Some of the running backs being valued in the same range as Alexander Mattison right now are Derrick Henry, Miles Sanders, Zach Charbonnet, DeAndre Swift, Cam Akers, and Rashad White. So that's up to you to decide where you view Alexander Mattison with that group of guys. But even when you look outside of the running back position, he's being valued similarly to guys like Christian Kirk, Amari Cooper, Deontay Johnson, Hollywood Brown, Elijah Moore, Rashad Bateman, Dallas Goedert, Brock Purdy, Geno Smith, and the list goes on and on. So you need to decide whether or not he has risen high enough to where he is worth selling at this point and how valuable Alexander Mattison can be to your Dynasty Fantasy Football team. And the last riser is a little bit of a deep cut, but it's going to be Puka Nacua for the Los Angeles Rams, rookie wide receiver out of BYU. But Puka has seen a significant increase in value over the last couple months. He's went from wide receiver 187 to wide receiver 84. Now, mainly the reason behind this is that Puka is getting some positive press from camp out of head coach Sean McVay and wide receiver Cooper Kupp. Both of these guys have said how much Puka has impressed at camp, and they think he's going to be a good wide receiver for the Rams football team, and he should find himself into some opportunity this season. Now, when you look at Puka Nacua, again, just like Alexander Mattison, he didn't test very well at the combine. A 4.6 240, college dominator rating of 27.4%, and a 19.3 breakout age. Puka is coming off of a college career where his career high in receiving yards was 800 yards. His career high in receiving touchdowns was 6 touchdowns. And he never saw more than 50 receptions in his time at BYU or Washington. Now, on my pre-draft rookie rankings, Puka did not wow me. He was not very high, and he wasn't necessarily a guy that I was looking for. We have to remember that Puka Nacua is a 5th round wide receiver, and he was to the very end of the 5th round. The chance of these guys panning out to be anything is very slim in the first place. And yes, there's some positive buzz from Sean McVay and Cooper Kupp, but at the end of the day, that is what they are supposed to do. We are at a time of the year where we are pumping up rookies. We are in hype central for fantasy football news. And I think that the buzz and the rise of Puka Nacua isn't necessarily warranted. Obviously, if you drafted Puka Nacua, you should be holding him and seeing what happens. But don't be going out and trading for Puka Nacua off of the buzz. This is not something that I think has a lot of validity to it, and it's not something that I'm willing to go pay up for an unproven rookie that's drafted in the 5th round just because he gets a little bit of coach talk and some positive reassurance out of a veteran wide receiver. But like I said, Puka Nacua has seen a skyrocket in ADP over the last couple months, and he is going to be the biggest riser we have seen so far this offseason. Now, that's all I have for you guys today. Like I said, we were just going to talk about 3 quick risers in the Dynasty Fantasy Football community. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe below. And make sure you go enter our Discord so you can be entered to win that signed NFL jersey mystery box. I don't have anything else for you. I will see you on the next video. Peace out.